My stepbrother Ethan had me sent to a conversion camp to make me stop loving him. I endured inhuman torment there. But one day after my release, Ethan caught me secretly kissing another boy. That night, Ethan pinned me against the wall, his voice icy. "Weren't you willing to die for me? How can you switch affections so easily now? Is your love this cheap?" I calmly showed him the scars covering my body. "I don't dare love you anymore. They'd beat me to death." Later, when Ethan learned what they'd done to me at that camp, he completely lost it. On my discharge day, Ethan came to pick me up with his fiancée Gloria. "Brother," I lowered my head obediently. He stared at me without responding. Only when I addressed Gloria as sister-in-law did he speak tersely. "Changed your mind?" I nodded. But Gloria took my hand with faux concern, her sweet tone laced with interrogation. "Liam, I need to know. Do you still have feelings for your brother?" Ethan's cigarette ash dropped onto his shoe unnoticed. Chills crawled up my spine. The camp instructor was watching me. Fighting tremors, I answered, "No." My voice strengthened. "Really, I don't." She turned to the instructor behind me. "Do you have a lie detector here?" The man hesitated. "Our neural lie detection system has electroshock function to prevent deception." Memories of convulsing on damp concrete floors surged. I clutched Gloria's sleeve. "Please believe me. I only see Ethan as family now. Don't make me." She shook me off coldly. When I reached for her again, she collapsed dramatically. "Ah!" Ethan rushed over, cradling Gloria as he glared at me with frosty fury. I didn't push her, I swear. My protest died as Ethan carried her toward the car. Over his shoulder came the ultimatum: take the test or go back for reprogramming. I scrambled after them, trembling hand aborting mid-reach. "Brother, I'll do it. I'll take the test." The compliance tasted like copper blood and burnt flesh memories. But survival outweighed pride. The mere mention of conversion therapy camp made me want to collapse. Gloria leaned against Ethan's shoulder, her pale hand reaching out to pat my head. "Good boy, Liam," she cooed, as though praising a well-trained dog. Any humiliation paled in comparison to being sent back to that place. The slightly rusted lie detector electrodes pressed against my temples as I stared intently at Ethan from across the room. "I don't feel anything for you anymore." His expression remained impassive, but the cigarette between his fingers trembled before falling to the floor. A humorless smile tugged at his lips. "Good." Gloria emerged from the car again, her latest demand already forming. "We need another agreement with the camp. If Liam ever relapses, starts getting those unnatural thoughts about you again, he goes back immediately. For intensive rehabilitation." When Ethan didn't respond, she gripped his arm with manicured nails. "We're getting married next month. Don't you want this resolved?" Her lips curved in mock sympathy. "Unless you enjoyed having him follow you around like some lovesick puppy?" Ethan's jaw tightened at the memory. The pen scratched across the contract paper. I stood frozen in the bitter wind, voice hollow. "If I ever love Ethan again, I'll kill myself." Satisfied? The pen in Ethan's hand creaked under his whitened knuckles, but he kept signing. Gloria pinched my cheek with saccharine concern. "Don't be dramatic, sweetie. I'll make your favorite casserole tonight." Her sickening baby voice made my skin crawl. Her current paranoia stemmed partly from my past actions. 6 months ago, I'd been the obsessed fool trailing after Ethan. That drunken night haunted me still, stumbling into his study, perching shamelessly on his lap. "Brother," I slurred, fingers clutching his shirt. Ethan set aside his tablet, hands settling warningly on my waist. "You think being male makes this appropriate?" My alcohol-fogged brain tilted. Would it be different if I were a girl? Suddenly I was pinned beneath him on the leather couch. His dark gaze burned through me. "If you were..." His breath ghosted over my lips. "You wouldn't leave this room tonight." Those damnable bedroom eyes made me believe, just for a heartbeat, that he felt it too. My lips brushed his in trembling invitation. For one suspended moment, Ethan didn't move. Then my arms wound around his neck, and everything shattered. Just as I tried to deepen the kiss, Ethan violently shoved me away. He threw me onto the floor, looking down coldly. "Liam, what do you think you're doing?" Wincing from the pain in my knees, I scrambled up to grab his arm. "Ethan, I love you. I gazed at him with desperate intensity, laying bare years of secret longing. Not as brothers. I want to be with you, kissing, sleeping together. Enough. Ethan cut me off, disgust slowly twisting his features as if examining some repulsive creature. Haven't I treated you well, Liam? Why must you disgust me like this? Those were the cruelest words he'd ever spoken to me since we first met at 8 years old. Before I could respond, he dragged me out and slammed his bedroom door. Soon after, he started dating Gloria. From their relationship announcement to engagement, I made their lives hell, moving back from campus to monitor them daily. I attempted forced kisses, slipped into his bed naked, begged for his attention while viciously comparing myself to Gloria. I sabotaged her openly, demanding to know what she had that I didn't. The night I learned of their engagement, I drunkenly barged into Ethan's room. What will it take for you to love me? My words slurred as he stood buttoning his dress shirt, damp hair glinting in the lamplight. Get out. His voice could have frozen hell. Never enter my space without permission again. Alcohol fueled my recklessness. I leaned against the wall, twirling an empty glass. What if Gloria disappeared? Would you finally be mine? Ethan's fingers stilled on his collar. Touch her, and you'll regret it. Really? I smirked, challenge dripping from each syllable. Would you kill me for her, Ethan? Instead of anger, a cold smile touched his lips. Yes. He stated it as fact. Eyes glacial. You know I don't make empty threats, Liam. Defiance surged through me. I slammed down the glass. Fine. Let's test that theory right now. At the time, neither of us took those words seriously. Feeling utterly drained, I decided to give up on him. I was so emotionally exhausted that I couldn't bear staying under the same roof as Ethan. I ended up taking a cab to crash at my friend's suburban villa for the night. It wasn't until Ethan's call woke me the next morning that I truly understood the gravity of careless words. Gloria had been in a car accident. The driver was terminally ill with cancer, barely clinging to life. He insisted it was an accident caused by drowsy driving, but surveillance footage showed him deliberately swerving toward Gloria. Thankfully, she reacted quickly, escaping with just minor scrapes. No one believed this was mere coincidence. When I rushed to the hospital room, the smell of alcohol still clung to me. Gloria turned ghostly pale at the sight of me, hiding behind Ethan while screaming, "No, don't let him near me, Ethan." I shook my head vehemently. It wasn't me. Though we'd always butted heads, I'd never crossed that line. Softening my voice, I tried to reassure her. "Gloria, please listen." Before I could finish, Ethan's hand closed around my throat. His gaze turned murderous, voice glacial. "What did I warn you? Have you lost your mind, Liam? To actually go this far?" My hands scrabbled uselessly against his iron grip as I choked out, "Ethan, really not me." He wasn't listening. The cold fury in his eyes told me he genuinely wanted me dead. Only when I neared unconsciousness did he casually release me, letting me collapse to the floor. Convinced of my guilt, Ethan had me withdrawn from school as punishment. His men delivered me to the conversion therapy camp, the darkest chapter of my life. A thunderclap jolted me back to the present. The drizzle when we left the camp had become a torrential downpour by our arrival home. With only one umbrella in the car and a short walk from the driveway, Gloria looked at me uncertainly. "I'll run," I offered quickly. "You and Ethan take the umbrella." She smiled, patting my head like one might a stray puppy. "We'll owe you, Liam." I'd become all too practiced at this people-pleasing act. Seeing her pleased expression, I relaxed. "No problem, Ed." The door locks clicked before I could exit. Ethan remained facing forward in the driver's seat, his voice cutting through the drumming rain. "You're planning to drown yourself in this downpour?" I hastily assured him. "Of course not. Liam Sullivan, I promise I'll take a hot shower the moment I get home. I won't get sick and become a burden." Ethan suddenly slammed his palm against the steering wheel, the abrupt honk piercing the rain-drenched silence. His stormy gaze locked onto mine. "You think I'm worried about inconvenience?" I nervously twisted the fabric of my jeans, swallowing my response. "Stay in this car," he commanded. "Don't move until I say so." He emerged into the deluge, black umbrella snapping open as he escorted Gloria toward the mansion's entrance. Before exiting the vehicle, Gloria threw me a glance that inexplicably tightened my throat. When Ethan returned, the umbrella tilted drastically toward me. Rain darkened the left shoulder of his tailored shirt. "You're getting soaked," I murmured, hovering awkwardly under the shelter. His mouth twisted. "If you'd close this ridiculous gap between us, I wouldn't have to play martyr with an umbrella." The chasm we'd maintained for propriety's sake did look absurdly wide. After 2 heartbeats of hesitation, I offered an apologetic smile. "Just keep yourself dry, Ethan." "Really? I'm fine." This time, I didn't wait for his retort. I sprinted into the hammering rain, refusing to look back even when my shoes sloshed through driveway puddles. Gloria lounged on the velvet sofa, amusement curling her lips as I dripped across the foyer. "Ran home like a stray puppy?" My stiff nod deepened her satisfaction. "Good boy," she purred. The scalding shower did little to thaw the ice in my veins. Every interaction here required chess-level strategy, Gloria's lingering hostility evident in the way she'd materialized 2 extra place settings at dinner. "Eleanor heard we have something in common," she announced, crimson nails tapping her wineglass. "Her son Julian also prefers alternative relationships. They'll join us tonight." Her smile sharpened. "You'll be charming, won't you, Liam?" Ethan's steak knife screeched against the plate. "He's not gay anymore." The dining chandelier's crystals trembled as he leveled a stare at Gloria that could frost champagne. "Your paranoia's showing, darling." Gloria's eyes immediately welled up with tears as she locked gazes with Ethan. "Shouldn't I be terrified of him?" Her voice trembled. "Ethan. He nearly got me killed that day." The mere mention of that incident triggered visceral reactions in me. Clammy palms, racing heartbeat, the same conditioned response I'd developed after being institutionalized because of it. Ethan's stern expression softened as he gathered Gloria into a comforting embrace. Perched stiffly on my chair, I fidgeted nervously. My mouth opened and closed like a stranded fish until Ethan shot me a warning glare. "Shut your mouth," he growled. "Get back to your room. Don't come out until I say so." I scrambled up instantly, murmuring yes, of course, despite the hollow ache in my stomach. Hunger mattered little compared to avoiding punishment. When summoned for dinner 20 minutes later, I found Gloria's eyes still pink-rimmed. "I'm sorry, Liam," she offered weakly. "I didn't mean to take it out on you." Ethan's silverware clinked sharply against his plate. "Why are you apologizing to him?" His frigid tone could have flash-frozen the room. "Liam's the one who owes you a lifetime of apologies." Rising mechanically, I executed the perfect 90-degree bow I'd perfected for prison guards. "My deepest regrets, sister-in-law. My deranged actions were unforgivable. Your mercy humbles me." The honeyed lies flowed effortlessly, survival instincts overriding pride. My performance left both Fosters momentarily speechless. "It's fine," Gloria finally managed. "Let's eat." As I resumed my seat, Ethan's obsidian eyes bored into me, silently demanding why I'd become this groveling shadow of my former self. The tension shattered when voices drifted through the ajar window. "Must we really do this?" A young man's irritated cadence carried clearly. "I already told you I'm seeing someone." Eleanor's weary sigh preceded their entrance. "Just be civil for 5 minutes. Julian." The door swung open to reveal Julian's familiar smirk. Our eyes met, the same cocky finance major who'd tailed me during campus recruitment events. Recognition flickered across his features as Gloria discreetly covered a smile. Ethan leaned back with sudden amusement, earlier hostility replaced by morbid curiosity. He froze, then froze again, and again. Eleanor gave me an apologetic smile. "Sorry about this, Liam. My Julian isn't much of a talker. Let me introduce." I offered a gentle smile. "It's all right, Eleanor." Just as she started speaking, the dazed Julian suddenly snapped to attention. He strode over and extended his hand with military precision. Julian Sawyer, 6 feet 2 inches, 8-pack abs, own multiple luxury cars and properties, 9-figure net worth, only child. Eleanor's smile stiffened. His sudden enthusiasm and dating profile delivery left me speechless. After an awkward beat, I tentatively shook his hand. "Liam." He stared unblinkingly, eyes dark with unreadable intensity. Throughout dinner, Julian became my most active conversation partner, utterly contradicting his earlier vow of silence. Gloria's gaze ping-ponged between us before she purred. They seem rather compatible. Perhaps the Sawyer estate has guest quarters? An extended stay would let them bond properly. I noticed Julian's ears flushing pink. Eleanor readily agreed while Ethan sat stone-faced. When I went to pack, Ethan followed. He leaned against the doorframe for eternity before gritting out, "Refuse. I'll relocate Gloria elsewhere." His jaw worked. "We're family. No need." I folded a sweater. "The Sawyers want me there." "Want you?" His laugh bit like winter wind. "He has someone else. Still chasing mirages. Aren't you?" Old ghosts of my teenage infatuation haunted his sneer. The slammed door still vibrated when I carried my suitcase downstairs. At Sawyer Manor, sunlight felt warmer. Julian later guided me through rose gardens, calloused fingers brushing my wrist as he identified hybrid tea varieties. When he suddenly pulled me close to blow an eyelash off my cheek, his cedarwood cologne overwhelmed. I tried retreating. "Stay." His grip tightened, thumb grazing my jawline. Our breaths tangled. "Missed a spot." I don't understand why blowing an eyelash had to be so complicated. A moment later, his nose brushed against mine. Just as Julian's lips were about to touch my cheek, a familiar icy voice interrupted us. "What are you doing?" I turned toward the sound and met Ethan's chilling gaze. He strode over, yanking me away from Julian. "Liam," he sneered, "when will you ever learn?" His mocking tone made my blood run cold. "Seems the conversion therapy camp didn't drill it into you. You're still using that pretty face to lure men." His words felt like ice water cascading down my spine. I stared at him, stunned. Ethan delivered his verdict calmly. "Looks like you need another round of re-education there." Julian's expression darkened. "What conversion camp? Didn't you know?" "Julian?" Gloria sauntered into the garden, heels clicking rhythmically against the stone path. Her smirk told me nothing good would follow. I rushed to her side, whispering desperately, "Gloria, please don't." She patted my hand with faux warmth. "Sweetheart, we can't hide your past mistakes. Sure, you were absolutely vile back then, causing so much trouble. But look how much better you are now." With theatrical flair, she turned to Julian. "Bet you'd never guess our timid little Liam here was once obsessed with his own brother." Her nose wrinkled in distaste. "Pretty twisted and disgusting, right?" I kept my face turned away, unable to bear seeing Julian's revulsion. Instead, I caught Ethan's faint smirk of triumph. Gloria continued gleefully. "The conversion camp? That's where we sent him after he hired a hitman to crash my engagement party. Clever boy almost succeeded in making everyone hate him, especially Ethan." She drifted toward me, fingers carding through my hair like I was a pet. "But look at him now. Those therapy sessions worked wonders. Maybe I should fund my own camp someday." Her saccharine smile couldn't mask the threat. One wrong move, and I'd be locked away again. As Julian took a step toward me, Gloria chirped, "Oh, your father needs you in the study. Urgently." The moment he left, Ethan gripped my shoulders hard enough to bruise. "Listen well, Liam," he growled. "The Sawyers would never accept a deviant. And I won't tolerate you chasing after other men." His obsidian eyes burned with possession. "Don't forget, I raised you. You belong to me." There seemed to be no escape. Compliance was my only option. My voice was flat and devoid of emotion. "I understand, Ethan." Ethan seemed satisfied with my response. Releasing his grip, he tilted his chin slightly. "Go pack your things. You're coming home with me. And you're not stepping foot outside again until you learn to stop chasing after every pretty face that catches your eye." I nodded mechanically, turning to leave. Gloria observed our exchange with detached interest, her expression unreadable until she extended an arm to block my path. "Ethan," she said lightly, "you know Liam's particular disposition requires more concrete consequences for lessons to stick." I quickly turned pleading eyes to my brother. "I'll behave, Ethan. I swear." Ethan remained silent, shadows obscuring his gaze as he lowered his eyelids. Gloria's laugh tinkled like wind chimes. "It's barely drizzling outside. What if we have him walk home? Nothing too harsh." Ethan finally spoke, his tone clinical. That's nearly 12 miles. Darling, do you really think I'd make him complete the whole distance? She patted Ethan's arm. We'll have a car follow. If the rain worsens or he genuinely can't continue, the driver will intervene. A flicker of hope surged through me as I stepped closer to Ethan. I'll stay home. I'll do whatever you ask. No more trouble. I watched Ethan's stern features soften incrementally, the tension in his shoulders easing, until Gloria sighed dramatically. Fine. Let him ride with us then. Can't blame you for indulging him, she purred, tracing Ethan's collar. We all know how compelling Liam looks when he plays the wounded puppy. Why else would Julian have fallen so quickly? Ethan's head snapped toward her. What are you implying? Nothing at all. She smiled innocently. Shall we go? Liam, hurry with your packing. As I turned, relief flooding my veins, Ethan's voice froze me mid-step. Wait. He moved past me to grip Gloria's shoulder, his next words cracking like winter ice. Liam will walk home. My throat tightened. Ethan. Mistakes demand consequences. His knuckles whitened against Gloria's silk blouse. Special treatment breeds entitlement. They swept past me without backward glances. Julian remained sequestered in his study, leaving me to entrust farewells to the Sawyer's housekeeper. The family driver stood sentry at the wrought iron gates, conflict warring in his eyes as rainwater slid down my neck. I already knew Ethan's orders would prevent any Sawyer vehicle from offering mercy. The 12-mile asphalt river stretched before me, each droplet whispering the unspoken truth Gloria had laid bare. The car sent by Gloria claimed to be there to take me home if I got too exhausted, but its real purpose was to monitor whether I'd obediently walk the entire way. When I begged the driver for help for the third time, pleading I couldn't go on, he coldly refused. Liam, you've barely walked 5 miles. How could you be tired? During our standoff, the roar of an engine approached. A silver sports car screeched to a halt beside us, making Gloria's driver break into cold sweat. Julian slammed the car door and strode toward me, his face impassive. Come home with me. He reached for my hand. The driver scrambled to intercept. Julian, don't make this difficult. Gloria insisted he walks back. Gloria's call came through at that moment. As the driver answered, her leisurely voice floated out. Well, you didn't soften and let him in the car, did you? Remember? Julian snatched the phone. Listen carefully, Gloria. His voice dripped ice. Go. Fuck. Yourself. Let me make this clear. It's Julian protecting Liam now. Lay one more finger on him, and I'll return the favor tenfold. He tossed the phone back, grabbed my luggage with one hand and my arm with the other. We U-turned and sped away. I stayed silent throughout the ride until Julian brought me to my usual guest room. He'd even drawn a bath, murmuring, "Your legs must be killing you." I called a masseuse wash up first. I remained rooted, meeting his gaze steadily. Why are you being so kind? Most of what Gloria said is true. I've done terrible things. His eyes dropped to my trembling legs, brow furrowing. You really want to have this conversation standing? Pushing me onto the bed, he knelt before me, massaging my calves with practiced motions. That incident where you allegedly hired someone to hit her car, true? I shook my head, my first denial since leaving the conversion therapy center. The dam broke. I never meant to hurt her. I choked out, the same words Ethan had deemed lies before sentencing me to that hellscape. Julian hummed thoughtfully, fingers working through muscle knots. Then everything else is just human flaws. His palms warmed my skin through the fabric. Doesn't change anything. After he finished confessing, the air fell silent again. I could tell he had feelings for me, but couldn't comprehend what he saw in this timid, overly sensitive version of myself. Julian suddenly chuckled after a moment, lifting his gaze to meet mine. Could you at least give me some reaction here? I've been sweating bullets this whole time. I voiced the question gnawing at me. Can I ask why you like me? How could anyone be drawn to this insecure mess I'd become? Someone even I despised. His fingers stilled. There are multiple reasons, he finally said. I can't pinpoint the exact moment it happened. By the time I realized my feelings, every memory of us together became something precious. Flashback to sophomore year during dorm inspections. As student council members, We'd stumbled upon a mewling kitten in Julian's closet. He'd sidled up to me, avoiding other inspectors, whispering, "Cut me some slack, senior. I'll treat you to meals for a month. Swear." I'd impassively closed the closet and marked their room compliant. After finishing rounds, I doubled back alone. Julian lounged in his chair, phone already in hand. "Let's get your payment app ready. Too busy for meal dates, but I'll cover your food bills all month. Just send receipts." I shot him the look reserved for trust fund brats, instead approaching his roommate cradling the kitten. "She's adorable. I've raised cats before. Want some tips?" "Thanks. Let's exchange contacts," the roommate offered, pulling up his QR code. Julian abruptly knocked the phone aside. "You're barely on campus. What good are you to that cat?" Turning to me with feigned nonchalance. "Better add me instead. Easier for reimbursements too." I gestured at his sneakers. "Why not get the limited editions? Couldn't afford them? Couldn't find them?" He bristled. "Only 80 pairs worldwide. Strange." I mused. "My brother gifted me the white pair. Maybe you're not trying hard enough. Or rich enough. Junior." His face flushed crimson, eyes sparking with outrage. That night, a contrite message arrived. "Sorry, senior. I acted like a pompous ass. Also, you're clearly wealthier." I imagined a scolded puppy with drooping tail, letting it marinate overnight. I finally replied with icy brevity. "Noted. Never mind." After that, he'd constantly message me about kitten care tips for no reason. Later, he started using the kitten as an excuse to lure me into his dorm. Eventually, he even stopped calling me senior. "Liam, friendly reminder, that guy you had lunch with today is currently dating 2 girls and 1 guy simultaneously. Liam, that athlete who asked for your WeChat at the club meeting last week? He got arrested for fighting. Total violent streak. Liam, why the hell did you accept that girl's friend request too?" This kind of thing happened constantly. But back then, my entire focus was on Ethan. I just thought he resembled those hyperactive small dogs from viral videos. All yappy and noisy. Yet somehow he was just this awkward, slightly immature but fiercely sincere guy. When Julian finished speaking, he stared at me through hooded eyes. "You didn't forget all that, did you?" I snapped back to reality. "No." Tilting my head, I deliberately countered. "I remember you missing out on those limited edition sneakers." He scoffed lazily. "You can recognize expensive footwear but can't tell when someone's into you?" My fingers twisted the bedsheet as awkward silence fell. I didn't realize I'd gradually relaxed into the moment, slipping back into our old dynamic like returning to solid ground after freefall. The phone's sudden ringtone sliced through the calm. I was still smiling when I glanced at the screen, until Ethan's name flashed. It felt like icy fingers seizing my ankles, dragging me back into the abyss. Julian saw it too. The warmth evaporated. After 2 heartbeats, I answered. "Ethan." "Liam. Listen carefully." His arctic voice crackled through the speaker. "If you're not home tonight, never come back. Tomorrow I'll publicly sever your ties to the foster family. You'll be penniless. Alone." The controlled rage beneath his clinical tone felt like scalpel blades. "How long do you think the Sawyers will keep their charity case then?" My pulse thundered as Julian snatched the phone. "Relax, brother-in-law. You cut ties tomorrow. We'll get married overseas the next day." Why would he return? To keep getting bullied by you and Gloria? He thrust the phone back at me. "Well, wanna go back?" Ethan uncharacteristically stayed silent, waiting. After an eternity, I found my voice. "No." The line died instantly. True to form, Ethan never called again. After being outright rejected, there was no way he'd come looking for me again. Yet 3 days later, Ethan appeared at the Sawyer family estate. Coincidentally, Julian had just called me. He'd gotten delayed by some scammer staging an accident on his way home. Ethan pushed open my bedroom door without knocking, his piercing gaze freezing me mid-breath. I forced composure. "What do you want?" He saw through my act instantly, lips curling in that infuriating half-smile. "Why so jumpy? Think I'm here to drag you back? Leave. I need to rest." My voice wavered despite myself. He stepped inside instead, shutting the door with deliberate finality. "After all I've done for you? Can't even call me brother anymore?" My pulse roared as he closed the distance, backing me against the wall. What's your game, Ethan? His arms snapped around my waist, crushing me against his chest. Just wondering. His breath ghosted over my lips. How someone who supposedly adored me could switch targets so easily. Was your devotion always this cheap? I braced palms against his shoulders, our reflections warring in his dark irises. You're not worth it. I'm done loving you. The words surprised us both. Months of freedom had steeled my spine. Want to know why? He stilled. I yanked my collar down, exposing the lattice of faded scars. Because last time I loved you, I hissed. Your conversion therapy camp nearly beat me to death. Ethan recoiled like I'd brandished a knife. Impossible. His denial cracked mid-syllable. Gloria promised. They only used guidance. Never violence. I watched coldly as he staggered back, fleeing the room without another glance. That night, his call came, icy detachment restored. Liam, those marks. Did Julian put them there during your liaisons? Disgust thickened his voice. Do all you queers revel in this filth? The phone creaked in my white-knuckled grip. What the hell is wrong with you? Ethan's contemptuous tone crackled through the receiver. I personally inspected that conversion therapy center. There's no evidence of abuse or violence. Liam, your victim act doesn't work on me. His voice dripped with icy mockery. Frankly, I'm delighted you refused to come home. I can't wait to see you get thrown out of the Sawyer family and come crawling back to me. Never, Ethan. My voice held steel. I wanted to scream that I'd rather die homeless than return, but the dial tone interrupted me. I blocked his number and collapsed into bed, surprised by how easily sleep came. For the first time in years, Ethan's cruelty didn't haunt my dreams. Julian had become my unexpected salvation. His carefully curated routine morning jogs through Central Park, art gallery visits, late-night pizza runs, gradually rewired my trauma-scarred brain. Though his daily "I like you, Liam, do you like me yet?" questions made me flush. He never pushed beyond that playful boundary. 3 months passed before Gloria struck. They ambushed me outside Columbia's library, chloroform rag over my nose. I awoke to smoke and memories, bound back with Gloria in an abandoned Brooklyn warehouse, flames licking closer. Let me share a secret, Liam. Her manic eyes gleamed through the smoke. The car accident last spring where I miraculously survived? The arson tonight? All my designs. You forced my hand. You're insane. I choked out. Am I? Her laughter echoed. Ethan's always watching you, worrying about you. What does that make me? His fiancée. The third wheel? The fire's roar nearly drowned her scream. But tonight fixes everything. The tragic kidnapping where poor Gloria barely escapes, and the unstable foster kid perishes. When Ethan burst through the flames moments later, the truth hit me like shrapnel. 2 smoke-choked figures in the inferno. 1 rescue. Her designer heels accidentally kicking away my reaching hand as he carried her to safety. The fire door slamming shut behind them. Alone in the crackling hellscape, I finally understood Gloria's endgame. He could only save 1 person. Gloria immediately adopted a panicked expression. Her eyes red-rimmed as she trembled. Ethan, take Liam back to the conversion therapy center. It's him. He orchestrated everything again. Ethan, who'd been standing between us, immediately ran toward Gloria. I forced myself to remain calm, searching for survival options. Ethan, Gloria just confessed. Both today's incident and the car accident 6 months ago were her doing. We grew up together. You know, I'd never hurt anyone. Gloria wasn't worried about my exposing her. She'd prepared her counterattack. Feigning terror, she met my gaze. Ethan, the Sawyers are publicly shopping for new marriage alliances for Julian. He knows he's losing standing in their family, so he's repeating this scheme to eliminate me and reclaim your favor. Her flawless logic hung unchallenged. Ethan paused briefly while untying her ropes, grunting acknowledgement before resuming. His belief was clear. My pleas for help went ignored. Numbed by despair, I stopped speaking. Leaning against scorching metal beams, I watched flames creep closer. When Ethan carried Gloria past me, he halted. I'll come back for you, Liam, he rasped. Gloria anxiously eyed spreading fires. Let's go. Ethan. Liam will be fine. Julian's people are protecting him. Shut up. Ethan snapped, uncharacteristically harsh. I remained motionless, praying smoke would claim me before flames did, a merciful unconsciousness before death. Footsteps faded. Through window frames, I saw Ethan set Gloria down before sprinting back toward me. Then catastrophe struck. Nearby oil drums exploded. Blazing light flooded the factory. Our final gaze locked across inferno as Ethan collapsed screaming. Liam. Liam? You're awake? Julian's voice penetrated my haze. Blinking, I focused on the figure by my hospital bed. Julian with fresh bandages across his face. Memory resurged. Julian charging through flames as I'd accepted death. He'd snatched me from explosion's edge seconds before ignition, mirroring how he'd repeatedly pulled me from emotional abysses when Ethan and Gloria pushed me toward ruin. I shifted stiff limbs, propping myself against headboard. This time, I knew salvation had truly come. Liam Sullivan parted his dry lips. Are you okay? He flashed a carefree grin brimming with youthful confidence. Just a scratch. Julian Sawyer brought a glass of water to my lips, feigning nonchalance as he asked, Impressed yet? If I were you, I'd be head over heels for myself by now. The water helped clear my throat. I offered a faint smile. Do you think you're some kind of hero? Obviously, Julian retorted without hesitation. My smile widened as I nodded. I think so too. The boy who'd been shamelessly praising himself moments earlier suddenly had ears turning bright red. Unaware of his own tell, he managed a gruff hum before finally surrendering to a smug grin. Liam. Liam. He nudged my shoulder. Say more nice things about me. The cheerful moment shattered when Knuckles rapped against the door. Ethan Foster and Gloria Yates entered, draining all warmth from the room. Ethan's eyes were bloodshot, his shirt misbuttoned, a far cry from his usual polished appearance. His gaze locked onto me, jaw clenched tight. Julian's demeanor turned glacial. Get out before I make you. Eleanor Sawyer appeared behind them, scolding sharply. Mind your manners. Julian, where are your manners? Gloria maintained her flawless act, approaching me with open arms. I'm so sorry, Liam. My PTSD from when you hired someone to run me over made me jump to conclusions this time. Thank goodness you're unharmed. I returned her hug with equal sincerity. Gloria, I murmured, when you revealed everything, did you really think I'd survive to hear it? Her eyelashes fluttered innocently. What do you mean? I mean I'll uncover the truth behind both incidents. My smile sharpened. Funny, Julian interjected, his smirk dangerous. My investigators are wrapping up their findings as we speak. Gloria whirled toward him, panic breaking through her mask. Julian let the silence stretch until she nearly cracked before drawling. The police will have all evidence within a week. Her knees buckled, colliding with a side table. Ethan's eyes darted between us three, complexion paling as desperate understanding dawned on his face. His expression confirmed everything he knew. That evening, Ethan called me from a new number. After a long pause, he finally spoke. I really thought it was you back then. I chuckled and moved to end the call. Don't hang up. Ethan's voice softened. I just wanted to say, whether it was you or not, I never planned to abandon you. That fire, I really did go back to save you. Julian saved me, I stated coldly. Ethan made a quiet sound of acknowledgement. I was only a little late. The fire had burned away my last illusions. Ethan, being slightly late still means you failed. Unintentional mistakes are still mistakes. Understand? Instead of making excuses to me, you should focus on reducing Gloria's sentence. I blocked the new number before he could respond. Carrying the first aid kit, I approached Julian's room. My knuckles barely grazed the door when it swung open, as if someone had been waiting. Julian stood there in a loosely tied bathrobe, damp hair curling at his collar. Come in, he said with forced casualness, though his eyes tracked my every movement. I smirked, calling his bluff. Your hair's completely dry. You finished showering ages ago. Leaning against the doorframe, I raised an eyebrow. Why still wearing that? Unless, I feigned sudden understanding. Is this a show for me? But Julian, we're both guys. What's there to see? Color flooded his neck. I didn't. He yanked at the robe's belt with trembling fingers. Just forgot to change. The terry cloth puddled at his feet before I could react. My brain short-circuited at the sight of his bare torso and the 8-pack abs he'd bragged about during last week's basketball game. Julian's embarrassment morphed into a smirk when he noticed my frozen expression. He waved a crumpled t-shirt near my face. Why close your eyes, senior? The challenge dripped from his voice. We're both guys, nothing to hide, right? I met his gaze defiantly. True. My eyes swept over him with exaggerated nonchalance. Not like there's anything worth looking at anyway. He stared at me, seeming to see through my stubborn denial. His gaze was heavy and contemplative. Just as I was about to crumble under the scorching intensity of his eyes, Julian raised his hand and pressed the back of it against my cheek, his smile teasing. If there's nothing worth seeing, why are you blushing? Liam. The charged atmosphere between us made anything other than full names feel dangerously intimate. Perfect. This time, I was the one losing composure. I slapped his hand away and turned toward the door. Julian's laughter rumbled through his chest as he yanked me back. Don't be so heartless. Huh? I got hurt saving you. You're just gonna leave without finishing the first aid? I had to stop. But this bastard truly knew no shame, pushing boundaries with audacious persistence. Help me get dressed. Liam? I remained impassive like an emotionless machine. Did your arms break? He rotated his shoulder and winced dramatically. Must have dislocated something when I saved you. I took a deep breath, resisting the urge to punch him. Fine. Each syllable dripped with venom. I'll help. Julian spread his arms wide as if completely oblivious to my fury, even flashing a challenging grin. I'd rediscovered my capacity to love. That's why I could easily recognize the attraction hidden beneath all my pretended irritation toward Julian. As his head emerged through the sweatshirt neckline, our eyes met. Suddenly, I didn't want to fight anymore. While adjusting his hoodie, I slid my arms around his waist. His body stiffened noticeably, burying my face in his chest. I murmured, "Thank you, Julian." After a beat, his arms encircled me. "No need for thanks, Liam. I like you. There's nothing I wouldn't do for you." My throat constricted as if filled with cement, choking off any response. Unwanted memories flooded my mind. The correctional officer yanking my hair, smashing my head against concrete walls. This is what you get for liking men. He'd locked me in a lightless 3-square-meter box. For 2 days, I only saw faint glimmers during meal deliveries. When finally released, his first question was, "Still want to be gay?" The real PTSD sufferer was me. As Julian started to pull away, I desperately grabbed his sleeve, babbling incoherent explanations even I couldn't follow. Liam raised his hand to wipe the damp corner of my eye, his voice gentle. "It's okay." The young man's clear tone effortlessly soothed my frayed nerves. The next morning, I approached Julian with a loophole I'd realized overnight. "Can you drive me to the foster family's house? I'm worried Ethan might let Gloria slip away." Julian's expression turned grave at my words. We arrived just as police officers were escorting Gloria away. The woman had shed all pretense of civility, her features twisting grotesquely when she spotted me. "Liam, happy now?" she shrieked, neck tendons bulging. "Wasn't I good to you when we first met? You kept provoking me, trying to drive me away from Ethan." Her manic laughter echoed across the driveway. "Yes, I made mistakes before," I said, stepping closer. "But what about after the conversion therapy center? Had I wronged you then? Ethan still couldn't forget you." She spat, eyes wild. "How was the conversion camp? HM? Your instructor said you begged like a dog not to be beaten. Why didn't you just die there?" Julian's knuckles whitened as he listened, his murderous gaze fixed on Gloria. Ethan suddenly paled, striding forward to grip Gloria's throat. "What conversion center? What beatings?" Police officers pulled him back as Gloria sneered. "You forgot, Ethan? You personally signed Liam into that hellhole. The beatings were standard. I just asked them to pay extra attention to your precious Liam." Before leaving, Julian approached the police van and smiled coldly at Gloria. "Such sharp tongue you have. Let's see if prison keeps that edge." The unhinged woman continued hurling curses, oblivious to the unspoken threat. I watched the retreating police cars silently. Behind me, Ethan stood frozen with dawning horror. The true punishment wouldn't be physical confinement. Prison walls couldn't contain the psychological torment awaiting Gloria. True suffering lived in the mind's unrelenting darkness. He walked up to me, shaking his head blankly. I didn't know about those things. Julian scoffed and rolled his eyes, too impatient to listen to his confession before striding back to the car. I avoided Ethan's outstretched hand, stating plainly, I don't care anymore. Besides, I told him before, he just hadn't believed me. I'm only here today because I was worried you'd let Gloria escape. Came to keep an eye on you. He looked at me with that intense gaze, finally whispering after a long pause, in your eyes, am I really the kind of person who'd do that? We lived together over 10 years. I couldn't help laughing bitterly, countering, wasn't it you, after all those years together, who kept distrusting me time after time? His eyes fell, standing silently in the cold wind like an abandoned sculpture. When he spoke again, his voice cracked, I was wrong. I've hurt you so much. The self-mocking twist of his lips looked painful. I've loved you since long ago. Too cowardly to admit it. I know. Leaning against the wall, I watched him with amusement. Why else would I keep chasing after you? Told you countless times I could feel it, but you kept denying. Agony flooded Ethan's eyes. I've missed my chance. Haven't I? Walking past him toward Julian, I asked as our shoulders brushed. After everything you've done, do you really think you deserve to ask that? Even as our car pulled away, the rearview mirror showed Ethan still frozen in the icy wind. Later, I heard the foster family business kept declining until bankruptcy loomed. Ethan ended up saddled with massive debts. One drunken night, he called me. Liam, came the bitter chuckle through the phone. You happy seeing me end up like this? Consider it my compensation to you. If I go to prison too, would you forgive me even a little? He meant he'd intentionally destroyed his own family empire. When I told Julian about this, he exploded. Bullshit. It was our Sawyer family that took him down. Since when's he pretending it's his own damn plan? Trying to steal credit to win your favor? Fucking unbelievable. He paced for 2 hours cursing Ethan until I finally calmed him down, my voice nearly gone. Yet when the foster family's bankruptcy and Ethan's arrest for illegal fundraising made headlines, one trending comment caught my eye. As a long-term foster stockholder, I know Ethan's downfall was self-sabotage. These competitor tactics? He handled worse during his first year taking over. 2 months later, on my 21st birthday, Julian barged into my room at dawn and dragged me to that conversion therapy center haunting my nightmares. My body locked up at the entrance, body going cold, heart racing, all those physical symptoms crashing back. Julian takes my hand. Liam, don't be afraid. Then he suddenly shouts, demolish. With a thunderous crash, the 16-foot wall embedded with steel spikes collapses. I stare at Julian in stunned silence, my eyes questioning. He tightens his grip on my hand. I've been investigating this conversion therapy camp for months. 2 weeks ago, I finally uncovered their criminal evidence. These monsters operated under the guise of rehabilitation while committing violent abuse. How could this hellhole exist? His voice hardens. 2 days ago, every staff member involved got arrested. Wall after wall crumbles to dust. I watched them bulldoze the solitary confinement cells where I'd spent countless nights. My perpetual nightmares disappear with the collapsing debris. Julian scrambles onto a rubble pile, cupping his hands around his mouth to be heard over construction noise. Bathed in dawn's first golden light, he yells, Liam, happy birthday. This is your present. Do you like it? The sun rises above the horizon, its warmth spreading across the ravaged grounds. I sprint toward him through sunlit patches of broken concrete, straight into Julian's arms. I love it, I murmur against his chest. Then softer, just for him more than the gift.